Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21. It's career mode. We're on episode 98. Today, Gonzalez Albiol has finally made it into the break. It was quite the process. But we fought, and it worked. And the gap has been growing and growing and growing ever since. Gonzalez Albiol has been contributing until the last few kilometers because they worked really hard to get away. It took them a good 40 kilometers until it happened. Once it did finally happen, and we got him clear, well, the energy was fairly low. And even though the heart rate got a lot better, we're still pushing above that 140 kind of range. And therefore, he's never gotten to full strength as we're beginning the first of our 3 climbs. Now, officially, we have many, many kilometers to go, but you can already see we're doing 3-4% consistently. Not with a whole lot of tempo, but the gap continues to grow out to 746.
The pack is still
and then meanwhile,
Jumbo
Visma not pushing. So this is really good. This is a great opportunity for Gonzalez Albiol to gain some time. Of course, he's 19 minutes down overall. Here you have Conchi, who's too far out of it. You got Van Hoek. You have Mühlberger in 30th. Fabro, Umba 16th. That's one we got to watch out for. We'll have to be ahead of him to move up the order. 21st, 15th for Dina. He was 9th last stage, but has dropped down. That's your KOM leader. So there's 2 competitors that both stand to gain something over Martin Guerrero, but stand to lose something compared. So it's kind of a weird position that we find ourselves in, where Gonzalez Albiol could gain but also lose at the same time, hurting his teammate who sits 14th. He is 18th. Issakov's out of it at 36, but he of course is that team competitor if we're going to have any chance of finishing second. Martin Guerrero, it's 13th. 13:07 down. Both of them, Gonzalez Albiol and Martin Guerrero, do have good race day conditions today. That could and should help. If you haven't been here for a while and you're just now catching up, it's the Giro d'Italia, and it's stage 20 out of 21. Karaman sat 3rd place. We had 3 riders in the top 10. Karaman ended up with a backache, withdrew from the race. We're up to 9.5 minutes, by the way, so the gap is growing.
They obviously don't have anybody in the breakaway group.
And we are picking up the pace. Gonzalez Albiol needs to speed things up to stay put with his position.
1/3 of the race left to run. Now's not the
10-minute gap. I already have these guys set to high. I tried to get Martin Guerrero in the break as well. They wouldn't let us get both, but they did allow me to get one. And Gonzalez Albiol made a little more sense for me as that one. He's got an 81 mountain today. It's definitely going to help his odds. There are 9 competitors within 80 or better, even after the withdrawal of a number of riders, including Karaman. Lutsenko not working anymore. 10 minutes, 45 seconds. Gonzalez Albiol, I want to stay with the bulk of these riders for as long as possible, because that's going to be the group moving the fastest. And then we will ride solo. Watching the other group, everybody's still in the front. No blinking red. They look to be doing okay for the time being. We have 50k to go, so the time to get water, the final time to get water, will be over the top of this climb. Gonzalez Albiol not doing great right now. He is a little tired. We've dropped 1 rider so far, but otherwise 9 still here. I am not contending the KOM. Not interested. We have just 12 points. These guys have 100 plus. So, group of 4 chasing.
As they go over the top, the riders
get that water real quick.
And hope to recover
and hopefully we regain contact with those 4 here momentarily. And we have a group of 8 going forward. Okay, he's got his water. This group, though, in the meantime, is not yet to the top. Riabovis will be the guy to get water, but it's 154. And we could see this split off a bit more. I'm going to allow him to drift a little bit.
For the pack. They obviously don't have anybody in the breakaway group. The pace seems
135.
much too high for many riders.
1.4K. He's getting held up at the moment by some slower riders. And let's go ahead and raise that hand. 600 meters to the top. That's close enough. Get that water, and then on the way down, recover the position and get that water taken care of. Okay, Narbutas, Luco, not looking great, but they did make it through that. Everybody else is still in front position. It's now 6 chasing 4, but the 4 have a 3-minute gap, and nobody wants to work. Gonzalez Albiol is going to have to do the work himself from here. 3-minute gap. That opened up really fast. I'm not interested in the stage. I don't care about the stage. This is entirely about gaining time on the field. So 8K to go to the top. That means we need to be going about an 81. 5 riders. Okay, now there's some riders ready to contribute. So let's go ahead and back off a little bit. And we have a group of 4. Van Houk, Pare Pentier, Van Dram. They'll work together. Gap's already coming back on the front guys a little bit.
The riders are in a portion above 10%. The breakaway continues to look better by the second. It could work.
Isakov never got his water. Riabovis
Some teams can't be happy with the breakaway.
failed on his task. Martin Guerrero did not get the water as well, so Riabovis falling back already. And I've only got 2 guys near the front. Okay, it's these 2. Set that to an 85. Set that to an 85. Middle of climb number 2. It's all Salvial. Well clear. I mean, we stand to gain 7 minutes right now.
Martinez goes onto the attack.
1.5K to go to the top. We will get recovery in shortly. We approach the top with not much energy left right now. 1K to go. No, that's 300 meters to the top.
The pack seems resigned.
There's the finish line.
To the escapees. The breakaway is not to everybody's liking. The Peloton has significantly increased its speed.
Recovery, recovery, recovery. Okay. Peloton's down to just 29 riders as we approach the top. Isakov. As we get a little bit closer.
Only 15 kilometers left.
Set these guys all to auto. Isakov, Martin Guerrero not looking great, but they hang in there. And then we get back with Gonzalez Albiol, who is 7 minutes clear. Shave off 7 of those 19 minutes, and he is in much, much better shape heading in. Van Houk not contributing. And where is the recovery?
Crashed off, and he's not getting up.
14K to go, and he's barely recovered on this descent. It was too fast. The heart rate's where it needs to be, but the recovery is not. Van Dram rejoins us. Hey, Isakov, we got the water.
Thank goodness everyone else escaped unhurt.
Protect your leader.
None of the favorites is giving an inch.
26 riders chasing
The
down.
riders are entering the last 10 kilometers of the
4
stage.
riders went clear. Is that Carthy, Ciccone, Van Sevenant, and Martinez? That's leaders. Lutsenko, the back end of the break. Ahead of us, Van Dram. Oh, of our 4, we are actually just 3rd. 10K to go. He does not want to contribute. We'll set a 65. We can't push too hard here. 3.5 minutes down on the front riders. This is all about pacing yourself over the last 9K to keep a good amount of time. Martin Guerrero, meanwhile, I think is the one we're going to be focusing on for a while. The breakaway of 4 has been caught. And here comes the first breakaway rider in Lutsenko. There's Conchi. It's nice that Gonzalez Albiol has managed to beat them. His gap is down to 5 minutes over this chasing peloton. Isakov, we're going to have to use his gel fairly soon. He's not going to last a whole lot longer, even though he's got a +3, but he is working for Martin Guerrero. Martin Guerrero got a little bit of recovery there, but not much. Luco crashes.
A rider is down.
On the descent, presumably. Hopefully he has not crashed himself out. Not that it matters now. It's stage 20. Almost back to Van Dram. 5.5K. Finally a little bit of support from Van Hoek. And actually he's going to try to leave me behind. Nice job.
Attack by Van Hoek.
Watch out. A team leader is falling behind.
He spends all that time riding my wheel. And then Van Dram's going to do the same thing and just take off. Jeez. I was the only one doing the work on the previous climb. You guys just sat on. Of course, I have a larger mission at play here. 4K to go for Gonzalez Albiol. And we're seeing a number of riders going clear. And 7-8. Conchi, Chacone, Carthy. Okay. 3 breakaway riders and 1 more attempting. With 5K to go. Howlett's with the withdrawal. Was he in the top 20? I wonder. Finally, somebody working with me, but that's only because he couldn't right away. 3K to go.
He's giving it one last go.
We're going to gel up for Martin Guerrero as we approach the end. Yes, we have 4 riders that have gone clear, but barely. 3.5K to go. Martin Guerrero's got a little bit left in the tank for this final push. A couple riders latching back on. No. They had contact for a moment. Isakov's going to fall away. Gonzalez Albiol, 2K to go. He still stands to gain a few minutes. And then, of course, there's the guys that aren't going to be in that group anymore. Fabro has won the stage. He was one of those 4 going for that KOM. 2.7K, 2.2K. Martin Guerrero, scoot forward. No. Nope, that's not good. Hang on, just hang on. I thought he had a little energy, but the moment we tried to pedal, he just ran right on out. Martin Guerrero pushing for the finish. Gonzalez Albiol, that is. And he will finish 7th on the stage, ahead of the favorites. Martin Guerrero is going to lose a little time here, but he'll still be in the top 20 on the stage. Isakov not too far off in 85th. Give him a little attack, little push. He'll gain a few seconds there. That's already 9 minutes down, though. We'll see where this puts us in those final standings. That top 20, of course, contained a number of breakaway riders, many of which were outside of the top 30. So count out about 5 of those guys, meaning we essentially finished in the top 15 with Martin Guerrero. And then that would have been the top few overall on the stage for Gonzalez Albiol, and he definitely gained some time on rivals. So, the breakaway. Finally, we force our way into it. Though Gonzalez Albiol, I mean, he started that climb not on full energy. That's how much work it took to get us in there. But he still comes out ahead. He still gains. Just how much? What does that do to our position? I would assume Martin Guerrero is going to be similar to the position he was already in, though there was a few breakaway riders gained some time. So maybe he drops 1 spot. Gonzalez Albiol, though, definitely should be moving up at least a few positions. 5.5 minutes behind for Gonzalez Albiol, 7th on the stage. Martin Guerrero was 7:06. That's a minute and a half separating them. So the gains aren't that huge for Gonzalez Albiol. He lost quite a bit of time measuring his effort, well, really through the last climb and a half. Last 2 climbs, ultimately, because that first climb, those 4 riders, they worked together, they pulled away, they opened the gap. And 3 of those finished strong. Only one of them losing time, that being Dina slipping back. My group, terrible. My group was absolutely terrible. Van Hoek, and then the last 3 of us. I finished third out of the group. But the second climb, I did all the work because they weren't interested. There was 2 other guys with us at the time. We left them behind. Then, once we got to the final climb, I got a little bit of help from maybe 1K worth of climbing. Otherwise, I was on my own. So I did the last 2 climbs almost entirely solo for Gonzalez Albiol, to the benefit of those other guys who would have lost a ton of time if I did not work. And that's how this game works. They were willing to set up and lose 6 minutes of their advantage. When I did not, they benefited from that. When I did, I was hurt by that and gained more than 2 minutes over me through that benefit. But had I not done that, we're right back in the Peloton, and then would have been out the back of it. We would have been behind Martin Guerrero because he was in that Peloton and just distanced near the end. A breakaway rider to then be caught means the extra effort that you spend, and then going back, he would have finished 8 minutes down instead of 5.5. So by working, we gained 2.5 minutes for ourselves. We gained an additional 2 minutes for those around us who decided not to contribute. Okay, so Foss leads over 3 minutes from Higuita. He's going to win this thing, and that's a clear advantage over Ciccone, who now sits third. Bocanoge was back there with Martin Guerrero, so he lost a bunch of time. He is 7 minutes down in fourth. Vingegaard, 8 minutes down in fifth. Carthy, Umba into the top 10 in 7th. Dalrue, Van Sevenant, Gegenhardt round out your top 10. That's 11 minutes. Martin Guerrero is just a few minutes off of that. There is time gains to be had in the time trial, but I think we're looking more at cracking maybe 12th place, maybe 11th. I don't think we're going to get much higher with Martin Guerrero, so I don't think we're going to crack the top 10. And out of all of that, Gonzalez Albiol only gains 1 position. That's the amazing part there. He gains so much and yet so little. He gained 1 position, that's all. And look at the gaps. So he's at 18. He's got a 7-minute advantage behind him, meaning a huge drop off. And he is only about 7 minutes down on 6th place. So the gap he has to literally the rider just behind him is the same gap he has 11 spots up the order to be at the tail end of a tight group like that. Time trial, 74. He's not going to gain that kind of time. He's going to gain... he'll be lucky to crack the top 15. Unlucky. Really unlucky to be in the position we're in. The race was going so well. Everything fell apart. Now, stage 20 was, I think, a good rebound for a team that's fallen into some terrible, terrible luck. We are 4th and 5th in the under 25s, and we have kept our 2nd place as a team. And in fact, we actually gained time on Ineos in that stage. Gonzalez Albiol probably the responsible party for the majority of that game, though Martin Guerrero certainly contributed to it. But we're back to 10 minutes down on Ineos. They, of course, are great time trialists. We'll finish 2nd there. Had we not lost Kuraman, the what could have been, I don't know. Definitely would have been a different race. Definitely. But it is what it is. We've got one more stage. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how far we can push forward. Martin Guerrero definitely has the potential to move up a handful of spots. And we're into the final stage of the Giro. Gonzalez Albiol setting off with a +3 race day condition. That is huge because at just 16.5 kilometers, we are looking at an almost 50-50 split between your prologue and full time trial ratings, and a +4 for Martin Guerrero. Both of them coming into this one really hungry, really wanting it, and that is huge. So Gonzalez Albiol, a 78-76. So he's getting a 77 overall, which is better than either. Martin Guerrero getting an 82-82. So 82 right down the middle. Both of them are going to put in really solid times, as the rest of the team for the top 3 times for your overall as a team. Isakov coming in best at 34 seconds down. That's going to help his position slightly. You can see an 86 is what you need through majority, and it's going to save a little bit in the tank for that final kilometer or so for a push. Gonzalez Albiol, we're going to want to make We have a little area to push kind of through here before you get to this traffic circle. Back off again through it, as it's all technical, but then push it a little bit again coming out of it. And then we'll go back down to an 86. Martin Guerrero, we're going to do the same after he comes out of that traffic circle. So we'll give him a little bit of a push through there. Okay, and then we're going to go and back off. You can see how we're catching up to Quintana. So Quintana's not going to be a threat. Okay, and Gonzalez Albiol coming into that final stretch. And now with 1K to go, we'll go 87 towards the line. We're not going to be threatened from behind. That's a really good time. 13th, 27 seconds down. And Martin Guerrero coming up towards the line. And he's going to be able to push even harder. Attacking. And that's going to be into the lead. Could it be a stage win? I don't know about that with 14 more riders out there. But it very well. Martinez 1 second slower. Wow, Martin Guerrero turning it on. 17 minutes, 9 seconds. Now, here's the problem. You can see 1st to 20th, just 34 seconds separating. Our worst guy, Narbutas, is exactly 1 minute down. We're not going to gain huge chunks. Martin Guerrero is going to move up. He is going to move up for that time. These guys behind him, largely 45 seconds behind. We're seeing Pronsky, 41. So we're going to gain some time. But Gegenhardt, we're not going to pick up much on him. 7 seconds is all. He takes 4th place. Van Sevenant is going to lose time. But it's going to be 40 seconds. That's about it. That's all we're going to gain on these guys. So hopefully it's enough for a stage win. Here's one threat. Del Rue. No, 6 seconds down. He's not going to do it. Umba. Terrible time. Look at that. He is well out of it and really motoring slowly right now. Could Umba lose a huge chunk of time? He is 7th. It's about 6th place on back that is in danger. That's the huge time loss. The only huge time loss we've seen. Carthy, 55 down. He loses a pretty good chunk. But now it's too close. Vingegaard, 29. Now it's all about the stage. Bocanoge is not going to win this thing, so Martin Guerrero has a real chance at a stage victory. 25 seconds. Ciccone is way too far down. He's going to lose more than a minute. It's going to drop him out of the top 3, most likely. Karaman would easily beat him and was well ahead of him. Minute 33 down. Hagita, he's going to lose time. 47. And just Foss left. He, at 20 seconds down, is not looking good, even though he does have the capability. 38 seconds down. Martin Guerrero wins the final stage of the Giro. That's big. That part, that really makes up for the terrible luck that we've had the last 7 stages or so. Now, he had a good race day condition, but it wasn't perfect, and he's not the greatest time trialist. We got that thing just right. Foss still wins. Hagita still takes 2nd, but Bocanoge steals the final podium spot from Ciccone on the final stage. Ciccone nearly drops all the way to 5th as Vingegaard really closed that gap, but Del Rue, Carthy, Gegenhardt, Van Sevenant, Umba still in the top 10. He was nowhere near the top 10 all race, but breakaway after breakaway was enough for him to go from nowhere in the competition to stealing 10th place in the end. That's the terrible luck that we fall into, that top 10 places can come down to just being a breakaway guy. Ewan wins the points classification. He won numerous stages through the sprint. Young rider, we keep 4th and 5th. Martin Guerrero really closed that gap on those guys, but it was not to be. And we actually lose time. We win the stage. We are well placed overall, and we still lost a minute to Ineos on the stage. That's just how strong they are in the time trial. We take 2nd in the irrelevant team classification, but it's still a really good sign of just how good that tour was for us, despite the terrible luck that just ripped away that performance. We had 3 riders in the top 10, and we held on to 2nd in the team classification after everything falling apart and losing out on the top 10. Stage win, well, it was enough to get us into the top 15, but that's all. That is all. Then Gills hangs on by 12 seconds. Dina, who was in like 15 breakaways, keeps 13th. He won one stage. He does enough. Martinez had a great final stage. It's enough for him to jump a number of these guys. He gets the benefit of it, the 1 second difference, but the gap that existed before the stage, enough to benefit him, but not enough to benefit Martin Guerrero. Wins the stage and gets almost nothing for it. Gonzalez Albiol stays 17th as well. You can see the massive gap behind us. We passed Quintana on the road with Martin Guerrero. Gonzalez Albiol, who finished significantly better, still over a minute down on him. And then a pretty good gap. Martin Guerrero at 13 was just 3 minutes from 6th place. That's how close that is, but he is at the very back end of it. Same thing as what we were talking about with the huge gap behind Gonzalez Albiol. Martin Guerrero, a 4-minute gap to Quintana, and only 3 minutes between 15th and 6th. And almost all of those riders, outside of Del Rue, Carthy, Gegenhardt, Van Sevenant, Umba, Pronsky, yes, that entire group were regular breakaway riders. Martin Guerrero, never once was he allowed to join the break. We tried. 3 stages we tried to get him in the break. Gonzalez Albiol, we did finally get him in the break. He recovered a little bit of time on that one, but not enough. These ended up being the top 6, the only non-breakaway riders. And then Martin Guerrero was next best. So unlucky with how things ended with that one. A much better race than how things kind of worked out. All right, folks. Well, that does it for this Giro. Not a disaster. The end looks a little bit like it, but a stage win, good consolation prize. Second in the team classification, shows what could have been, what should have been, what maybe was in an alternate universe. 3 riders in the top 10 to nothing. Next up, National Championships. Dauphiné going on right now. They just did stage number 1 on the same day that we're wrapping this race up. But then we have the Tour, and the Tour is going to be a totally different ballgame. GC, not in the cards. Grauman will be back in time for that, but it's just not in the cards. I'm thinking I want to get after the KOM and try to win some stages. Try to be a breakaway team. It's hard. It's hard to do that. But if you intentionally lose a ton of time, they're more willing to let you get in the break. We have to just really let time go early on in that race if that's going to be our goal, if that's going to be our objective. That does it for this one, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.